So I'm here with Kylie and Sloan. These two ladies participated in this project, and you created a tile. What was your tile?
My tile was the beginning of Auschwitz, how the Nazis and all of them came in, like the Jews, the railroad, and all that.
Like the entrance to Auschwitz, which is really, when we think of it, a lot of times we think about the big sign. Do you remember what the sign said? It was in German, but the German words was, "Work will set you free." Did they tell you? Did you learn about that? Yeah. So it was not really true, though, was it?
No.
Yeah. So what did you learn from this whole year of learning about the Holocaust?
I learned that people got treated terribly, like they should never have gotten treated.
Right. Groups of people. And why do you suppose they were treated terribly?
Because they had a different race. That's what their reason was,
But it's not a good reason, is it?
no.
So, do you think that that lesson can be applied to today, the things that are going on in the world today? Yeah. In what way?
Like in Australia, our teacher said like that's happening all across the world. Like that's happening in Australia and stuff.
And it's almost unbelievable, isn't it? And you, Sloan, what was your tile?
My tile was the Shoes of the Danube, where people left off when the Nazis shot them, and they fell in the water, and it's just leaving behind their paths, but they had before.
Wow, that's really sad, isn't it?
Mm.
And so all of those shoes, we talked earlier before we got started filming about the Holocaust Museum in D.C. and how there's a room just with lots and lots and lots of shoes. And those are more than shoes, aren't they?
Yes.
They represent
Their lives.
each person's lives.
Yeah.
And each life is precious, right? So what did you take away?
I took, I should always be nice to people and treat them right, like I wanted to be treated, and just stuff like that.
Very good. Thank you, ladies. So, Chase, you drew a tile for this wall.
Yeah.
What was your tile about?
Well, it had people like going into those like shelter building things where Nazis took like Jews, and also had trucks and where people had guns to, because they had guns to force them into those things. And I also drew it on it like someone with a gun killing someone, because they did that in those places. And since like Hitler's men was doing that, I also drew like people's arms like sticking up of how they like did that little thing like this and stuff.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So, when you learned about the Holocaust, what did you think?
That they did a lot of bad stuff, the Germans, and I'm just glad that a lot of them are dead now, because it means that a lot of that stuff will not happen anymore, because we do not want that stuff ever to happen ever again, because that was bad and a very sad time.
I agree. And, pardon me, Kinsley, what was your tile about?
Jesus.
Jesus? And what did you draw?
I draw him on the cross.
You drew him on the cross because he gives hope to people and comfort. And that was certainly a time that people needed hope and comfort, wasn't it? Okay. So, Brady, you learned about the Holocaust this year.
Yes, ma'am.
Had you known about the Holocaust before all your lessons began?
Well, I heard about the Holocaust, but I didn't know how bad it was until I learned about it this year.
What is the thing that shocked you the most about what happened?
That millions and millions of Jews died.
It's a lot of people, isn't it? And why do you suppose that they were targeted? Why do you think that they were the ones that were selected? That's a tough question.
Yeah, my personal opinion is, because I'm just going off what my teacher said, is because most people, and me included, think that it's because Hitler loved only one person in his life, and that was his mom. So, and when she was sick, there was a Jewish doctor that was taking care of her. So and she died, and I feel like that's the reason that Hitler doesn't like that killed all those Jews.
Okay. And what did you take away from the whole experience and everything you learned?
that it was a very bad time.
It was a very bad time. And tell me about your tile. What did you create?
Well, I created there was a boy in the middle because in my classroom we watched The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. So I drew him, and he has no hair because in that movie at that time when they were in the concentration camps, they had all of their hair shaved off. So, and I also drew a cross that has faith, love, and hope around it because in my personal opinion, I feel like that's the only thing that the survivors of the Holocaust had to hold on to for them to survive the Holocaust.
Yes, very good. Okay, now Julio, tell me how learning about the Holocaust has changed your life.
It changed my life by how it was bad for the Jews around, because right now there's not like as much Jews now, but how I felt about that was I felt like mad, but sad a little bit because if I was in that time, I would try to assassinate Hitler, but
And try to stop all of that
Yeah.
badness from happening.